Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So, have you got a Corsa D and it's basically the temperature light is either flashing or stuck on? If you have, the first thing you need to check is your cooling fan. Basically, the cooling fan stopped working on this car. So, yeah, I thought I'd do a little video showing you guys how to test it yourself and then obviously replace it if need to be. So, yeah, let's take a look.
And if you get value from this video, hit the like button and subscribe to support this channel.
Right then guys, so just a little bit of backstory. So basically we were on our way for a meal just before Christmas and we noticed we were stuck in traffic and I noticed the coolant temperature light started flashing. Now there's no gauge on this car. I don't know if the higher models have got gauges or anything, but this one hasn't. So basically the temperature light just started flashing. It says in the handbook that it either comes on and goes off, but in this case it was flashing at us. We pulled into a service station and the engine did smell a bit hot. We checked the coolant level. Obviously we didn't take the cap off. I strongly advise anyone, do not take the cap off when it's hot. Obviously it was full of coolant, so we knew that obviously it hadn't lost any coolant, it wasn't getting hot. It smelt a bit hot, but it was okay. Once we actually got driving and got it up to a bit of speed, the light stopped flashing, so we kind of assumed that obviously there wasn't a major issue. So we got it home. I had a little look. The first thing I noticed is that the cooling fan was not working when that light was flashing. So obviously you expect when it gets up to temperature, the cooling fan kicks in. On this one, when it was flashing, we noticed that the cooling fan just wasn't kicking in. So obviously there's our problem. So yeah, I thought we'd do a video. We'll test the cooling fan, check if it's faulty, and then go ahead and replace it if it needs it. So yeah, let's take a look. Right then, so the first thing I wanted to do is just show you where the fan is. So if we look here under the coolant bottle, just on the front there you'll see our cooling fan. So this is the motor for the fan, and you can see it's integrated into this cowling. So basically that's what we're going to be testing, is that actual fan itself. Now on the bottom of the fan there's an electrical plug. It's a bit awkward to see, I know, because it's a bit dark, but basically we're going to go ahead and disconnect that plug on the bottom of the fan. And then we can go ahead and test whether it's working. I always like to start at the fan and then work my way back, because then I kind of know where I am. Like I say, I don't want to go down the route looking at fuses and that unless I know the fan is working. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and test that. Now here we are from underneath, so you can see it's just a motor with a 2-pin plug. So what we're going to do, we're going to put power and earth to these 2 pins. Basically I've got a little test lead I made up, so I'm going to go and hook them. So you can see there's 2 little spade terminals inside there. So we're going to take some male spade crimp terminals, which I've crimped on the end of a piece of 2-core wire. Nice little test lead I made up. Dead simple, guys, anyone can make one of these. So it doesn't matter which way round you hook it up, because obviously if you hook it the wrong way to what it normally is, the fan will just go backwards. So it doesn't really matter which way. This is just purely a test. So we're going to go ahead and hook them on. Then on the other end of my 2-core, I got 2 little crocodile clips. These are brilliant for doing this sort of thing. So I'll go ahead and put the red wire onto the positive. Now again, it doesn't really matter, because it doesn't really matter which way round. So you could put it whichever, and like you say, it'll go forward. If I put it one way, it'll go backwards if I do the other. So I'm, just for the sake of this, I'm going to put the red to the power, which is there, the positive. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to touch the negative on and see what happens to the fan. So there you go. So if I touch this on here now, and you look down there now, you can actually see the fan is not turning. And if I give it a bit of a smack, there she goes. Now she is moving a bit slow, she's not moving very fast. I didn't actually get any sound with this, sorry guys, so you can't really hear it, but you can see there she's quite limp, she's not turning properly. So there's our fault straight away. There we go, we've diagnosed it within seconds, minutes. Straight away you can see there the fan isn't operating when you put power to it. So, and if I turn it there, you can see it, give it a bit of a kickstart, it starts going. But even with that, you know, even after I've turned it, it's just not enough, you know. It's completely gone limp. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and replace this fan, and yeah, that should fix our problem. Right then, so the first thing we're going to do is remove the coolant bottle. So we need to take the cowling out to get the fan out. So we're going to have to make a bit of room so for the actual cowling to come up. So I'm going to take the bottle off. Now luckily the two pipes are quite flexible, so we can just go ahead and remove that bolt, clip out the bottle and basically just bend it over the top of the engine. So you'll see the two pipes there just kind of kink over, which won't hurt, and they're out the way. And then we can go ahead now and remove the air intake. Now there is this kind of big air intake kind of panel here. I don't actually know what it does, but it's in my way. So I've removed the little screw and I've gone and pulled it out the way. Now it just slots into a pipe that goes into the airbox, so you can just go and pull that off and stick that out the way. And believe it or not, we now have enough room to get that fan cowling out. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and disconnect everything. So there's not much to it. It looks worse than it is. So like I say, we're going to take this complete shroud out in one lump. So the harness, believe it or not, actually comes with it. So we're going to go ahead and disconnect the main power supply, which goes down. We're going to remove this wire, which plugs onto the actual air conditioning compressor. Down by here, so you can see it goes on there. There is an earth as well, and obviously there's a few things, but like I said, it stays there. There's that wire I was telling you about that goes to the air conditioning pump. So it's just a matter of unclipping that. It's a bit awkward there, so we just unclip that. Again, that comes away with the shroud, so we don't have to worry about taking it off completely. Just unplug it off the pump, and that gets that out of our way. Then the next thing we're going to do is this wire over here. So you've got that little resistor, and then you've got a wire coming off onto the actual chassis leg. Now down here there's a little 10mm nut. Sorry about the lighting, but it was a bit dark down in that corner. We're going to remove that, but we're also going to remove the main master plug. So we'll go ahead and unplug that. Again, I need two hands to do that, so sorry for dropping the camera. So we got that out, and there's also this little clip here, which you just unpry from underneath and pop that out to get that out the way. Once you've got them off, believe it or not, all that's left then is that earth I mentioned. You can see there, that's that clip I was telling you about earlier. So we're going to go ahead and remove the earth. Now there's the earth. I've gone ahead and removed that as well. Like I said before, there was just a 10mm nut, which looks like this. Obviously there was another wire there, so when you put it back on, make sure you put the two wires back onto that stud. And that's it pretty much. So what we're going to do now is disconnect the cowling. Now it's just a little push clip, so you'll see this clip here. You basically push the clip in and lift the cowling. So we're going to push it on the one side and lift, and then on the opposite side of the shroud there's the same clip, so you can see that here. So we're going to push it in and lift it up, and then once we've lifted in both sides up, we can go ahead and give it a wiggle and pull it up, and that's it, removed. So that's it. Believe it or not, that's that simple. We just go and lift that right out. It's got the harness and everything connected to it, and we can go ahead and replace that fan. Now I like to do things on the floor. It makes life a bit easier sometimes, so I'm going to go ahead and strip the fan off. Now literally all there is 3 screws that hold the fan to the cowling. I'll go and skip this ahead, you don't have to watch this. So we just undo these are just little torque screws. The fan is a little bit wedged in there, but when you just give it a wiggle, it'll come out no problem. And you can just go ahead and drop the fan out. There we go. Now it only goes on in one place, one way, because obviously that plug's got to line up, so you don't have to worry about marking or anything, and that's it. So we have got a new fan. Here's my new fan. Like I say, it's I got it from my local factors, but it is an OE quality one. And here it is. Now it does look a little bit different off the bat. You can see the studs on this one with the overhead bolts, and when I actually went to fit it to the cowling, believe it or not, it doesn't blinking fit. So I had a little bit of a think to myself for a minute here now, and a little bit of a squeeze, but yeah, so yeah, what are we going to do now? Right then guys, so we're actually a week later now, and basically we run into problems with the actual fitment of the fan. So obviously this is the original fan, which was held on by 3 bolts. Now the one they supplied me, my local factors, was actually like 3 studs, so the holes were a little bit small, so I just drilled the holes out ever so slightly in the cowling to get them to fit. When I actually bolted the fan up, then the actual fan hit the cowling, so it was actually too close and it wouldn't rotate. So basically it wasn't going to work, it was the wrong fan. So after about a week of messing about, it turns out there is a few different types of fans. Due to the age of this car being right on the crossover, they couldn't actually identify which fan it was. So now I've done my own bit of research, and I've actually discovered that there's a difference in the actual tolerance between the motor brackets, so where the motor brackets, and the actual fan. Now this one is about 22 mil, and the one they supplied me was about 8 to 10 mil. So big difference, and that was basically my problem that was causing all my issues. So I've done a lot of research now since, but I've actually discovered that there's a couple of different types. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put links down in the description to all the different types of fans, and basically what I'll do is I'll show you obviously the actual different tolerance. So I'll put a picture up now. So this is what we're looking at. So by here where I've circled, this is the actual tolerance that you're looking at, which is this gap between the motor bracket, where the motor brackets to the fan, and you need to check that, and obviously check on the new fan. So it might be worth pulling it out before you order it, or whether you just order obviously whichever one they say on your VIN, and then, you know, take a chance. But what I ended up doing, like I say, my local factor couldn't pinpoint it, so basically they sold me a complete new housing. It was about £20 more, so not really the end of the world, but it's got a new fan, it's all on there, bolted up, spins lovely. It's the exact same cowling. To me it looks like the same fan as what they supplied me, so I'm guessing it's like a modified cowling. So yeah, that's what I'm going to fit. So like I said, I'll put as much of this down in the description as I can, so go down there and have a read and you'll see everything I've used. And yeah, basically that's what I had to do. So all we're going to have to do is basically swap over the electrical harness and the resistor. So they're going to have to be swapped from this to this, just like when you took them off before. Obviously now you can turn it around and you can get to them and just basically unclip it all and then swap it over onto the new cowling. So I'll go ahead and do that now. So I'm not going to bore you with all the details. I think we'll just do a bit of movie magic by here and magically drop the old one on, and then, oh, poof, it's done. So like I said before, you just swap it over like you did before. Swap the resistor over, it's just one screw there, and then we can go ahead and refit this to the car. So obviously we're just doing everything in reverse now, so I'm just going to pan the camera and basically go ahead and assemble it all. So yeah, first thing we're going to do is drop it into place, line up them lugs on the side and just give it a nice firm push down, and it should click into place, and then give it a bit of a tug up. If it doesn't come up, you know you've got it. So there we go. I'm going to plug the main power supply in now, so we'll plug that main multi-plug in, and clip that back into place all tidy. Then we're going to take the earth and put that on. Like I said before, there is 2 wires that goes on the earth on this car. Different models may vary, so make sure you check whatever comes off goes back on, because it could cause you some major issues if you forget to put an earth on. Then we're going to go ahead and clip on the air conditioning pump wire and make sure it's all clipped in tidy back into the cowling. And then we can go ahead and refit the air intake. We'll clip that back into place and then clip it into the front. It is a bit fiddly to clip into the front, but it just takes a bit of lining up, and then we can go ahead and put the torque screw back in. And then once we tighten that, then we'll go ahead and refit the coolant bottle. Again, it's on flexi pipe, so you can just go ahead and drop that into place, clip it in by pushing it down, and then line up the screw, and we'll put the 8mm screw back in. And believe it or not, that's it, guys. So we'll just test the fan now and make sure it works. And all we're going to do is do it exactly how we did it before and just make sure it's all up and running. So again, we touch that on, you can see this straight away, there she goes, all working lovely, and you can hear the nice loud drone of that fan, which obviously, like I say, it's clear as day now, it's all working good. So there we have it. Now we're going to have to test the fan, so what I'm going to do is take it for a nice road test to get it all up to temperature, and then probably leave it ticking over outside my house to yeah, make sure it works. Right then, guys, so don't know how to say this, but the fan now is all working, which it wasn't before, so which obviously we tested, and we knew 100% the fan was faulty. I've put it all back together now and got it up to temperature, and basically no fan. So I thought, oh, well, what's going on here? So I've actually plugged my computer in, and there's actually a second fault on this fan system, which is really annoying. So it's really simple to fix. It's a real simple little fix. I don't have to strip it down like I did before. So I've decided I'm going to order that part now and then do a part 2 on this video. Now obviously that part could have been damaged by me removing it, but more than likely it was on its way out as well. So definitely worth watching. As soon as I get the part, I'm going to bang it on and do a video, and I'll show you how to test it and everything. I'll try and work out some way with test leads that we can test the component and know if it's faulty. So yeah, stay tuned guys. Part 2 coming soon, and we'll get this fan system fixed so it stops overheating. So yeah, thanks for watching.
And if you get value from this video, hit the like button and subscribe to support this channel.